Hello, and welcome to Pausible's version of what is a service dog, an ESA, and a therapy dog. So let's just dive right into it. A service animal is a dog or a miniature horse that is individually trained to do work or perform tasks for a person with a disability. Examples of such work or tasks include, but are not limited to, guiding people who are blind, alerting people who are deaf, pulling a wheelchair, alerting and protecting a person who is having a seizure, reminding a person with a mental illness to take prescribed medications, calming a person with post-traumatic stress disorder during an anxiety attack, or performing other duties. Commonly, we get the question, is deep pressure therapy considered a task? No, it's not. It is not recognized by the courts as an actual work or task that is trained. You have to find something else. Now, under Pausable standards, service dog has to be trained to 3 different tasks to be qualified as a service dog. So we have to find 3 different tasks that are individually trained and are done on cue by the trainer or by something in the environment or by the person themselves in order to qualify as a task or a work. In addition, a service dog also has to pass the public access test and has to be able to pass that every 2 years. Now, let's move on to the ESA. An emotional support animal's sole function is to provide comfort or emotional support. Emotional support animals do not qualify as service animals under the ADA, Americans for Disabilities Act. Emotional support animals may not be allowed into areas that a service dog will. Legal protection of an emotional support animal is limited to housing and air travel. Housing is covered under the Fair Housing Act. Air travel is covered under the Air Carrier Act, Air Carrier Access Act, I'm sorry. Emotional support animals are not allowed in public where pets are not allowed. A service dog may still be able to provide the comfort of an emotional support animal, but has been trained to complete tasks that a support dog will not. So let's move on to therapy dogs. What is a therapy dog? A therapy animal, it doesn't necessarily have to be a dog, function is to provide trained affection and comfort to people in facilities such as schools, hospice, disaster areas, hospitals, nursing homes, and the like. Things that they may provide are a listening ear to child's reading program, a comforting nuzzle to seniors in care facilities, a passive purr while being pet in a hospital inpatient. Therapy animals are trained to focus on people other than their handler. They are usually certified by some other organization, and therefore they are generally tested by a qualified and other organization. Those are the nuts and bones of a service dog, an ESA, and a therapy dog. Now, there are some other things that you need to know. For instance, service dogs. Service dogs, again, and I cannot stress this enough, are specially trained to perform tasks for their handlers. They are unlimited in the places where they can work. There is absolutely no required certification or paperwork, so you can self-train. However, I do strongly urge you to work with a trainer to get the dog trained appropriately, because there are things that can disqualify your dog as being a service dog or get them ejected from the place where you are. They can be any breed. However, I caution you that not every dog can be a service dog. So do not run right out to your local Humane Society or rescue place and pick up a dog thinking that you're going to make it a service dog, because there is absolutely no guarantee that that dog is going to make the greatest service dog ever. It does not have to be trained by an organization or trainer, and only dogs or miniature horses are allowed to be service dogs. Now, the ugly side of a service dog requires that the person be considerate and take responsibility for their impact on society. This means that you cannot be rude to every single person that walks up to you just because you have a service dog. You must be able to handle the public's comments, stress, and stares. Some people cannot interact with your dog due to allergies, due to fears, whatever the case may be. You must be considerate of that. Your dog must be clean and odor-free. Your dog, for public safety and health, as well as for the health of your own dog, must be fully vaccinated with both core and non-core vaccines on a yearly basis, and on heartworm and flea and tick medicine. Dogs can be really expensive to acquire and can be really expensive to maintain. Keep in mind that the average working dog, their working lifespan is between 6 and 8 years. So you're going to want to maximize that as much as possible. You're not going to want to feed your dog dog chow, even though it's probably one of the cheapest foods out there. That's not going to be what's the best dog food for your dog. You're going to want to feed it a high quality dog food so that it gets the best nutrition possible, so it can have a long, healthy working life. Really expensive to acquire means that they can run anywhere from $2,000 to $20,000 and $30,000. So you're making a significant investment in this dog. And they also require constant training to keep up. Depending on who you go through, you may help train the dog, you may get a fully trained dog. It doesn't matter. You're going to put a significant amount of time and effort into keeping this dog's training up. Let's look at ESAs. Emotional support animals can be any kind of animals. However, there are a few exclusions under the Air Carrier Access Act. They may only go where pets are allowed. There is no required training. However, there are expectations. And under the Fair Housing Act, as well as under the Air Carrier Act, they can be asked to leave if they are not under reasonable control, if they make a nuisance of themselves, if they are not well taken care of, if they are not regularly vaccinated, if they destroy property, things like that. You are still expected to clean up after your animal. They must be kept in such a way that they are not a nuisance to public health, and they are not covered under the same laws as service dogs. They are covered under the Fair Housing Act and the Air Carriers Act, which means that there are restrictions and documentation which must be provided, which is contrary to service dogs, in which no documentation can be required, with the exception of psychiatric service dogs. So how do you know the difference? Look at what the dog is doing. A service dog is trained to perform tasks. Should be identified with a vest, but a vest is not required. It must be harnessed, leashed, or tethered unless these devices interfere with the service animal's work or the individual's disability. In that case, and only in that case, the individual must maintain control of the animal through voice, signal, or other effective controls. Emotional support animals may be something other than a dog or a horse, may not be under control, but should be, may not have a vest or other identification, are allowed on planes, but not in non-pet friendly locations. A therapy animal may be something other than a dog or a horse, must sort of be trained and certified. Therapy animals and their volunteer handlers are also usually their owners, are typically given entry to areas in connection with specific social programs. And so there you have it. In a very quick overview, the nutshells of therapy dogs, service dogs, and ESAs. Service dogs are not pets. ESAs, therapy dogs, are pets. Any questions, please use our contact us form to get a hold of us or give us a call. The phone number is listed down below on our website. You can also use Facebook to get a hold of us. And we look forward to talking to you later. Thank you.